So what is intuition? I think of intuition as an inner knowing that guides us through a deeper connection with life. Some things that I have learned and experienced about intuition doesn't move with urgency. It often moves with clarity, but without explanation. It's kind of like when you go to the sandwich shop and like your body keeps telling you get the turkey sandwich and you're like, why should, and then the next day you find out everybody who had the tuna salad was sick. It's like there's no logical explanation for how or why intuition speaks to us in the way it does. It's just something that is tapped in, tuned in, turned on. And the other thing that I have found to be true about intuition is that what it does, it doesn't guarantee that things are always going to be easy or that things are always going to feel perfect, but that it will contribute to a sense of that things are aligned in a certain way. That even though right now what I'm moving through is really sticky and muddy, it somehow feels like the right path still. And there's a sense of trust that I'm going to come out on the other side and that I'll be okay as I move through this. Intuition can let us know when an environment is healthy for us, a physical environment or a social environment. It lets us know the type of nourishment that we need, right? Do I need rest? Do I need food? Do I need a girls' night out? Like, what is it that is really being called for in order for me to replenish and be well? It can really let us know when we're overextending ourselves and moving beyond capacity. And I think at its core, intuition really reminds us that we are wonderful and we are worthy. Because when we're rooted in our own goodness, it's inevitable that we create goodness in the world and that we don't move in ways or try and take actions to seek external validation because that internal clarity is just so rooted and so tender. We can lose touch with intuition when we're not encouraged to value it, when we lack time and space to sit with it, and when trauma hijacks our nervous system. So for most of us, we probably come from cultures and family environments where we were taught to obey our elders without necessarily having our own voices heard, right? So oftentimes that kind of like childhood knowing, childhood intuition gets squashed real quick. We don't necessarily have like rituals or practices, right? Like I like going to the gym and I'll do a deadlift and we'll practice that thing over and over again until I can stack more weights on the side. But it's like, I didn't know how to do a deadlift when I first started doing them. And if we don't have people who are teaching us, how do we strengthen and build the muscle of our intuition? Then it's like, I don't know how to feel this thing. And then lastly, we are all carrying, I shouldn't say all, but like most of us have our own individual trauma histories as well as intergenerational traumas that have been stored and passed down through the lineage. And sometimes we just hit situations and our brain goes on warp mode and suddenly we're not able to like use the tools that we have or trust the things that our body is telling us or anything like that. We'll pause here and just check if anybody has questions or anything they want to share out with the group. Okay. How do we reconnect with our intuition? The first way is to begin to connect with intuition in simple, non-traumatic decision-making. And that's some of what we're going to do today. And what I always tell people is that when we can practice this sufficiently, like when we get real good at this, the growth afterwards is exponential because it's like such a springboard for listening to our bodies. So practicing with non-traumatic decisions. The next is by beginning to listen for the easy yeses in your body. What does your body want to say yes to? What feels good, juicy, yummy? and then getting into a practice of saying yes when your body requests that. And lastly, beginning to listen for the indicators of an intuitive no. This is the last step, and it is often the hardest for a lot of different reasons. One is because a lot of folks are coming from people-pleasing tendencies, cultures, and behaviors. So it's hard to say no to begin with. Second, there's so much negative baggage associated with the word no. We think that we're rejecting somebody else's needs, as opposed to remembering that a no is a way of honoring our own needs, while also trusting that somebody else's needs can be met in a different way, that we don't have to be all things all the time, everywhere, unless Michelle Yeoh, and then you can do all the things, you know what I mean? But so that can often be the hardest. So that's the final step. So I'm going to